It was a serene Sunday morning, the kind where you linger over a steaming cup of coffee, soaking in the quiet. Then a sound like a banshee's wail tore through the Piscean explosion of carbon fiber meeting steel, followed by a chilling silence as every appliance in my house flickered out. Lights, coffee maker, computer screens all dead. Outside, my windmill groaned like a wounded beast, its blades grinding to a stop. Barefoot, coffee splashing in my hand, I rushed out, expecting a lightning strike or some freak mishap. Instead, I found absurdity, a smoldering drone, its rotors twitching like a dying bug, wedged deep in a $30,000 wind turbine blade. Striding up the hill, with the nerve of someone who'd slashed your tires and called it performance art, was Cynthia Reynolds, the HOA president. Her wide-brimmed hat bobbed, her smirk sharp enough to slice through steel. She pointed at the wreckage and snapped, "Maybe now you'll rethink that eyesore in our neighborhood." I glanced at her, then at the ruined blade, then back at her, and knew Cynthia was about to discover just how costly her grudge would be. A week earlier, life was steady as it gets living on the fringes of Cynthia's HOA reign. I'd just finished fine-tuning the firmware on my windmill, a 35-foot engineering marvel with composite blades and a smart grid that powered my home, my electric car charger, and the local animal shelter. It stood on my property, just beyond HOA reach, fully permitted by the county and funded by a state sustainability grant. To Cynthia, though, it was a personal affront, a blight that mocked her obsession with uniform lawns and traditional values. Never mind that it was barely visible from the road or that it kept the block humming during blackouts. To her, it was a rebellion against her control. She started with petty notices, then slipped passive-aggressive flyers into my mailbox, claiming the windmill's faint hum ruined her meditation sessions 2 blocks away. When that flopped, she got brazen. She began flying her drone, the same one now lodged in my turbine over my land, calling it an aerial survey. I caught it hovering outside my kitchen window once, mid-dishwashing, and another time trailing my dog in the yard. When I called her out, she flashed a syrupy smile and said, "If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear." But that Sunday, her drone crossed a line. My security cameras captured everything, the craft launching from Cynthia's backyard like a guided missile, banking sharply and barreling straight for the windmill. No waver, no mistake, just a deliberate kamikaze dive. The impact was like a cannon blast, the blade splitting as the turbine screeched and shut down to avoid collapse. Smoke rose from the hub, and my backup solar batteries strained to keep my house alive. I didn't scream or call the police, though I was tempted to fling the drone's remains into her yard. Instead, I locked eyes with her and said, "You owe me 30 grand. She scoffed. Should have made it drone-proof. I asked if her Lexus was raccoon-proof. She didn't laugh. Instead, she doubled down, claiming my unsafe equipment violated HOA rules and vowing to file a complaint. That night, a letter from her lackeys appeared on my door, accusing me of endangering the neighborhood, creating an environmental hazard, and me favored obstructing aerial navigation. This wasn't an airfield. It was a cul-de-sac with dog walkers and kids on bikes. But Cynthia was relentless, insisting her drone was part of a security operation backed by her 2 loyal HOA board cronies. I didn't lose my cool. I gathered evidence, high-res photos of the damage, for angles of security footage showing Cynthia grinning like a cartoon villain as she piloted the drone, and every permit proving my windmill's legitimacy. I sent it all to my lawyer, Rachel, who called back laughing. "This isn't a dispute," she said. "It's sabotage." I hoped Cynthia might back off, maybe offer to cover part of the blade or admit fault. Instead, she escalated. By Tuesday, 2 more HOA notices arrived, one for visual pollution, another demanding I dismantle the windmill within 30 days. She filed a police report for reckless machinery, which the officer tossed after watching my footage, muttering, "She's out of line." Then came the flyers, titled "A Community Under Siege," with blurry photos of my windmill and wild claims about unregistered surveillance tech. Cynthia even held an emergency HOA meeting, megaphone in hand, railing about the dangerous windmill incident, like she was leading a revolt. Neighbors peeked out, some rolling their eyes, one flashing her a rude gesture from behind a blind. At the meeting, Cynthia spun a tale of her drone on routine patrol being attacked by my windmill, which she claimed I'd programmed to thwart her. She waved a diagram, babbling about rotational torque sabotage, a phrase so nonsensical I nearly snorted. When my turn came, I played the footage. The room went quiet as the drone slammed into the blade, followed by Cynthia's voice. "Let's see how he likes this." Her allies fidgeted. One muttered, "Did you really say that?" Cynthia stammered, claiming it was out of context. I handed out my permits and a state energy report praising the windmill. As I left, Cynthia hissed, "This isn't over." She was right. The next day, her brother-in-law, Greg, showed up with a drone testing kit and two sketchy guys from his Skyguard Airspace Solutions outfit, claiming to investigate electromagnetic interference. I blocked them from my property, recording as Greg kicked my mailbox and called the windmill a piece of junk. Cynthia kept pushing, passing a new HOA bylaw banning structures over 15 feet laughable, since my windmill predated it and was county-approved. I called a friend at the State Energy Commission. Days later, Inspector Emily arrived, spending hours verifying my setup. When Cynthia tried to butt in, whining about dizziness from the windmill's vibrations, Emily shut her down. "That's not a legal issue." Cynthia stormed off, muttering about her senator cousin. Desperate, Cynthia went door to door with a petition, spinning lies about my windmill hosting illegal surveillance or attracting vultures. She scraped enough signatures for another HOA vote. This time, I brought a projector, showing the crash, Cynthia's damning words, and Emily's report. The room turned on her. Someone yelled, "She's wasting our dues." Another demanded her resignation. Cynthia fled, her petition in shreds, but she didn't quit. She filed a small claims suit for $12,000, citing emotional distress and defamation. Rachel cackled. "She's begging to lose." We countersued in district court for $30,000 for the blade, plus damages for harassment and legal fees. The courtroom was packed. Cynthia's lawyer floundered, offering a photo of her traumatized goldfish. Rachel presented our case, footage, permits, Emily's report, and a harassment timeline. The judge dismissed Cynthia's claims and ruled for us $30,000 for the blade, $5,000 for power losses, $10,000 in punitive damages, and $7,000 in fees. Total, $52,000. Cynthia went pale, Greg slumped, and I hid a smirk. Outside, neighbors cheered. Cynthia vanished from HOA meetings. The board booted her, and her house went up for sale. One day, she appeared at my driveway, no hat, no attitude, just a store-bought blueberry pie as a truce. I took it, said nothing, and watched her drive off. The new blade arrived, gleaming, with Cynthia's folly etched on the HOA manufacturer's jab. I mounted the broken blade by my driveway, a trophy of her defeat. The windmill spun again, powering the shelter and inspiring a community microgrid. At a sustainability fair, I shared the story not for fame, but to show how truth, patience, and a stubborn turbine can outlast even the wildest drama. Cynthia thought she could break me. Instead, she crashed her own wings, and the wind kept turning.